Good morning. Happy Monday. And in case you hear background noise, Monday is trash day. And so you might hear the trash truck behind me. But it is time for just a word from the Word. Our passage this morning comes from the book of Joshua, chapter 11, verse 21. And I'm reading from the King James. And here's what it says. And at that time, came Joshua and cut off the Anakims from the mountains, from Hebron, from Debir, from Anab, from all the mountains of Judah, and from all the mountains of Israel. Check out this last phrase. Joshua destroyed them utterly with their cities. Utter destruction, a call to utter destruction. As I was going through a few chapters in Joshua this morning, when I got to chapter 11, there's a few times, and I've been reading in the English Standard Version, but there are a few times in that chapter that references the fact that Joshua utterly destroys their enemies. It's in there a few times. Um, that the call of God to him was to conquer the land of Israel because that was a land that God had given to them, but that there were enemies in the land. And the call was to not allow any of their enemies to remain. And so Joshua took the battle, took his army out, and would go and would fight battles over several years span as you go through the book of Joshua. And you find that as Joshua leads the army and as they conquer different portions of the land of Israel, they have enemies that they have to fight. And all except those that sneakily came and got a covenant with them. Joshua destroyed all of them completely, totally. And as I was going through that this morning, I just kept thinking about how important that it is for when there are spiritual enemies. I'm not talking people. Hear me. I'm not talking human beings. I'm talking when the enemy attacks you. How that we are called to utterly destroy those things that constantly trip us up. We are told in Hebrews to lay aside every weight and the sin that easily besets us. Why would the writer of Hebrews say that? Why would God tell Joshua to utterly destroy the enemy? Because if you leave any remnant of the enemy, that enemy is going to take hold again. It's going to cause you trouble. What is it in your life that trips you up? Is it a bad attitude? Is it something that you watch on TV, your phone, your iPad, your computer? Is it something that you read that trips you up? Is it music that you listen to? What is it that tends to trip you up? The call this morning is to utterly destroy those things that trip you up. Well, how do we do that? If it is something that you watch, then make certain, put in parameters that will stop you from watching that. If it is music that you should not be listening to, if it's music that just trips you up, then set parameters in place so that you do not listen to that kind of music. If those things are in your house, get rid of them. If there are movies that you should not be watching and you happen to have them in your house or saved on some sort of Netflix account, delete them. Utterly destroy those things that will trip you up. Because if you say, I won't do it anymore, and yet you leave the opportunity to possibly do it again, you're gonna fall. I'm going to take it one step further. Jesus said, if your hand offends you, cut it off. If your eye offends you, pluck it out. What was he saying? If we're doing things that trip us up, then we need to cut that out. Do surgery, get it out of your life. Why? Here's this morning's just a word from the word. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. Be not conformed, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. We are to walk transformed lives, and we cannot be transformed by the Spirit of God if there are things that are clinging to us that need to be utterly destroyed. For your spirit's sake, for your soul's sake, utterly destroy those things that trip you up. Again, I'm not talking people. If we set out to destroy people, we are wrong. We are scripturally murderers. Don't seek to destroy people. Get rid of the sin in your life. Utterly destroy those things that hinder you. If you see sin in somebody else's life, you pray for them. Don't seek to destroy them. God wants us to walk free. Walking free, sometimes, a lot of times, means laying things down that easily beset us so that we're not bound by that any longer. I want you to be free. I want you to walk free. Jesus wants you even more so to walk free. This has been just a word from the Word. God bless you. Have a beautiful day. And Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow morning.